Good afternoon, everybody. I hope, or it might not be the afternoon for some of you. I'm Yuha Jin, CEO and co-founder of Tella, and I'll present our service and how we're actually solving our target customers' problems. So our company name and service name is both Tella, and we provide chat-based English personal training. So before I introduce our service, I wanted to talk about the problems or the market gap that the current telephone and video lesson segment, the users in this segment are facing. So in Korea and worldwide, to improve your English speech, there are a lot of online services that you can have an English lesson through telephone or Skype or these days Zoom. Although there are great services, the main customers in this market have three problems. The first is the awkward learning experience. Now this is especially the problem for Korean English learners and Asian English learners. So though people can read and understand some English, when they try to actually have a verbal lesson with a tutor, they have very high anxiety about speaking in English. And because of this, actually going through that lesson is very nerve-wracking and awkward. So if you just imagine getting a phone call from a tutor, you're already kind of nervous taking the call. And then once you pick up the call, you have to immediately understand what the native tutor says and respond immediately. Now, this is very difficult for a lot of people. And because of this awkwardness, people actually, the lesson doesn't lower the awkwardness, but actually enhances or increases the psychological barrier. So because of that, people fail to continue to take these lessons and study and fail to continue their English studies. So this is actually the biggest problem, and this makes people just pay the companies but never really use the lessons they purchased. And so that's the biggest problem. The second is it effective? So the voice lessons seem like it is an effective method, but actually a lot of people in this market, people that actually went through the psychological barrier and continued studying, which is a small portion, they, after using several months or years of these services, they hit a wall on their English proficiency improving. So they improved to some point, but after that, they testify that their English really isn't improving because they just say the same thing all over and over again. So we're solving this as well, as I'll explain later. And third is standardized learning. So right now, most of the services provide standardized learning curriculums. So you just go step by step as the company guides you. Whereas right now, I think there is a lot of technology that we can utilize as service providers to give a personalized learning experience based on the user data. So we're solving all of these problems through chat or text-based English. So I'll show you how our service works. Currently, we provide a 25-minute lesson. So at the time you book the lesson, the tutor that you chose will contact you and give you an expression card for the day. And the tutor will lead the conversation, so you don't have to feel awkward, or the tutor will lead the conversation, and the tutor will also correct all the English sentences that each student composes or writes during the lesson. So instant correction on the grammar, vocabulary, and also provide a recommendation of more natural expressions or expressions that native speakers would use. So you can choose, or we also recommend out of the 1,000 learning units we have, and we're creating learning units every single month based on our customer needs. And we have tutors, which the students can pick from based on the student rating, or hashtags where you can see the strengths of each tutor. So you can have a different tutor for every single lesson, or stick with one, whichever you want. And yeah, we provide a booking system. So we're trying to provide on-demand learning where you pick a tutor, time, and program for each lesson, and you can change them around or just stick with one that you like. And I'll show you how a student would actually use their the lesson. So this is an actual ad. And after the lesson, you can see all the corrections you got and listen to the corrections through text-to-speech technology and listen and repeat. So going back to the problems that we're solving. So as you saw our service, it's chat-based. So compared to voice lessons or video lessons, it's actually a much more relaxing and fun learning experience. If a tutor contacts me at that time that I booked, you don't have to be all awkward and nervous because it's a text. You can have some time to think about it, understand what the tutor is saying, and think about what you want to say. Also, you can do the lesson wherever you want. Now, you can think the same thing about telephone or Skype lessons because it's virtual, but actually, if you think about it, English learners have to find a space to do verbal lessons where there's no other noise and where other people aren't listening into their English. Whereas chat, you can do it everywhere, as you saw in the video, in the subway and the bus. We even have customers doing it in their offices, which we do not recommend, but yeah, you can do it anywhere. And so we're solving that problem, and that's the the solution that we take most pride in. Second is it effective in terms of increasing your proficiency? So according to research, chat-based learning or chat lessons actually increases English proficiency or English speaking of learners faster than verbal lessons. You might think, how is this possible? So there are a few reasons that the researcher says, or the paper says. The first one is you have the time to really think more. And that really gives room for the learners to bring out all of the vocabulary or expressions they already know or the grammar structures they have in their head and formulate a more I should say, complicated sentence rather than just a simple sentence or phrases. So that's one reason. Another is you get feedback, and the feedback is recorded in text, so it's very easy to review. Another reason is that it's a visual learning method, so it helps you remember much better than verbal lessons. And this is a research done by a third party, not us, but we see that these results in our students, where I'll show you the testimonials soon. Third problem about standardized learning. So we provide personalized learning based on user data. Because we have chat-based lessons, we can provide some kind of analysis of each of their lessons and also their progress over time. So this is actually what we're providing now. So after the lesson, you can see your chat lesson again on our website. You can also see the corrections. So the sentence you wrote and the correction the native tutor provided, and also listen and repeat, listen to the corrected version. And so you can listen and repeat. This is a function that our users love. Lastly, we provide chat data analysis for each lesson. Sorry, it's in Korean, but to summarize in English, we provide how many sentences did you write, how much vocabulary did you use, how many new words did you use, what's the average sentence length, etc. And we also provide a monthly learning report on this data and to show their actual learning progress for a certain period of time. And this helps our learners really feel the sense of achievement. Whereas a lot of learners, they just try English, give up, try English, give up, this whole cycle. It's kind of like signing up at the gym in January, but giving up again, and then signing up again. So there is this negative cycle, whereas if we provide this data, they actually feel a sense of accomplishment and achievement, and that really pushes them to continue their learning. So that was our service and how we're providing our target segments problems. Because a lot of our users really gained the confidence in their English, they asked us to launch voice lessons that's connected to the chat lessons. So we provide voice lessons, 15-minute lessons that you can just try again, actually doing a speech lesson based on what you already learned and already wrote in English. Yeah, so you review the corrections you got, and based on this the chat lesson you had, the tutor will conduct a 15-minute lesson. But for our voice lessons, what's different from the competitors is that if you just have voice lessons, you really haven't formulated your English sentences or yet, or have gotten feedback, whereas you've already thought about it, got feedback, and now you're just really just practicing again verbally. So you have a lot of things to say. The lesson feels much more people feel much more fulfillment. And we also do provide feedback during these lessons as well. We also, because we provide an online lessons, we want to make sure that people don't miss their lessons that they book. So we do provide pre-lesson and post-lesson notifications. Yeah, so to kind of summarize what kind of value we're giving in this market is that I already compared our service to telephone or Skype lessons, but there are different segments in this market. Tella is has our strength. We have our strengths in the output, interaction, and feedback segment compared to other segments. And in the future, we are going to further develop the learning LMS functions and personalization, as well as to gain the competitive advantage. As I stated earlier, I think the biggest value or greatest value that we're creating through our service is turning fear of that people have about English into achievement, and taking them out from the negative learning cycle to a positive learning cycle. So people always try to, especially now, the new year is gonna come, so people are gonna try to improve their English again, purchase some services from other companies, try it for a short term, but give up because of the psychological barrier, give up because of the sense of, because they didn't get the sense of accomplishment. Whereas our users, as I'll show you later, that they come to us, and because it's chat, they overcome their fear, they have fun with it, feel a sense of achievement, and so they continue the learning process. And this helps, as a business, that means our users can actually stay with us and repurchase again because of that. So our target customers are mainly people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s that are working full-time. Now we're expanding to people, Korean English learners overseas, and preteens or teens in Korea as well. These are actual customers or learners, and they give us these long testimonials. We didn't ask them, or we didn't pay to get this testimonial, but they give us all these testimonials, and basically what they're saying is what I just told you. They overcame the fear because of Tella, where before they tried telephone English, Skype English, but they gave up because of the time, they gave up because of the anxiety, or they just simply didn't see results. Whereas they came to Tella, they thought, would this chat work? But they tried it for a month. They actually felt a sense of accomplishment, and so they continued, and they actually saw results in their English speaking. Yeah. So as you can see, these are our average testimonials that they leave. And it actually shows also in numbers. So our attendance rate of our lessons are 94% on average, which is, I think I'm pretty sure we have the highest attendance rate among all English online services. So just to give you a glimpse of how high it is, usually for the video lectures that you can purchase online, like video lectures, the attendance rate would be less than 10%. For telephone English, it's less than 50%, whereas our attendance rate is 94%. So this means that people actually are getting what they paid, Satisfaction rate is 96%, and we have 80,000 accumulated users so far. We also have B2b partnerships, and more companies are reaching out to us for their employee training. Most notably PUBG, eBay, Sunday Toast, Samsung Electronics. They all have purchased and still are purchasing our services for their employees. And especially IT-based companies love us. Because of the nature of they really dislike the voice or telephone lessons. And we have contracts with resellers and many content companies as well. We've been featured in many Korean media and also on Google blog as well. And how we control our quality is actually through 3 ways. One is we hire the best of the best. So our tutors are currently Ugandan and the Filipinos, and we have a competition rate of 50-1. So we only pick 1 out of 50 that apply. You have to have perfect grammar, very high typing speed, etc. Another way is automated quality control. So we analyze all the chat data of each lesson, so we know for each lesson what kind of quality the tutor provided, such as how fast were their responses, how engaged were the tutors, were they late, were they early, etc. And we also do have regional managers doing quality control as well. So we have this all figured out. So in the long run, we want to develop our service, strengthening our personalized learning content. So not just analyzing, but actually feeding content based on their strengths and weaknesses. So that's where we're headed. And we want to expand to the global market starting 2021. We're currently thinking about the Japanese and Taiwanese market first. And we also want to go into Latin America, Spanish-speaking countries, as well as these markets are currently growing every year. So, but I'm also open to different markets as well. So I would love to get in touch through this session. Thank you. Yeah.